Hey everybody, how are we doing? It is Saturday night. I love the weekend. How are we, Jay Luke?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing all right.
Do you know, me and Jay were just sitting next to each other and he had some absolute classic poses, everybody. Now, I hope he doesn't do this during the show because his internet weren't working. So, just before we all come online, basically, Jay was talking to me, and I don't know if I was boring him from the UK, but basically, he was yawning and he was like this. Oh, and he just froze. I'm like, Jay, don't do that during the show.
It really was brief, but it came off.
It
Well,
really
it was
was
quite
brief, but
permanent.
there's some great moments. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do screenshots of everybody who comes on my show and their computer goes on a freeze mode because I'll tell you what, I've had some classic faces.
Oh dear.
Anyway, Jay, welcome to the show, all the way over in Pennsylvania, USA. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. So, everybody, One Life on a Saturday evening. We don't often do a One Life on a Saturday evening, but I tell you what, we are coming in thick and fast for the Guitars for Vets. Artists are asking to come on, particularly in this month, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. However, I'm going to be working my little socks off. So, from 15 to nearly 20 artists this month, it's going to be a very busy month. And I'll tell you what, we have got one cracker of a show lined up for you on the 28th. So we have got two artists working in the background for Guitars for Vets who are looking at creating a guitar hero type night where 8 guitarists from around the world are going to come and play live on One Life for the night for Guitar for Vets. And we're also going to try and get a guitar being signed by those artists and other artists to give over to the Guitar for Vets on our very final show, because I think that's going to be an absolute memorial time to say goodbye to Guitars for Vets. But we are only on week one. We have still got 3 great weeks of artists who are on the show, and Guitar for Vets will continue to get our support, which is absolutely fantastic. So in terms of One Life, we don't have much more for you this evening, apart from thank you for all your support that you've been giving to these amazing artists and also to myself here at One Life. I'll be talking a bit more about that at the end of the show. But I tell you what, it's Saturday night and I'm ready for music. Okay, so let's get our artist of the evening on the show, Mr. J. Luke. So, Jay, One Life haven't been here before, okay, and people don't know that much about you apart from the bio that you put up. Great bio, great music, great links, and they've been able to find out a bit about you. But during today's show, we're going to find out about your music journey, but we're also going to find out about who the real J. Luke is. And for those who don't know J. Luke, you may find out a bit more during tonight's show. So, Jay, how did this all start? Where was you when you very first thought, do you know what? I'm going to be in the music scene as a rock star on those stages, just look like my like teenage idols, like David Bowie was.
Wow, it's almost like you know me very well. um, for me, well, I guess the itch was put into my head. My parents, when I was growing up, my mom was a huge fan of the Rolling Stones, and my father loved Led Zeppelin. So I was like kind of in between those two influences. And as I was, hearing those artists, the birth of music television came out, and that was kind of my way to finding my own music. Van Halen and the 1980s groups, and I was very obsessed. Just like, wow, this is really exciting stuff. The music and the visual element of it all. And I think early on, my mom or somebody took me to a guitar lesson because I wanted to be like Eddie Van Halen. And much to my disappointment, on the first guitar lesson, they're trying to teach you how to play like Happy Birthday or something. And I was like all about wanting to learn Hot for Teacher, and it didn't quite pan out. So I kind of like I put that idea on ice there for quite a while. And maybe when I was like 14, I think it was like I was 14, I got myself a guitar, and I said, I'm going to teach myself. And I was just incredibly determined, or stubborn, however you want to look at it. And I learned, and there was a lot of pushes and nudges along the way that made me want to do it. There was an album by an artist in particular named Wasp, Blackie Lawless, the artist, had an album called The Crimson Idol that just changed my life. And that right there was the album that I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I think I'm actually going to write songs and whatnot, because it's still today, it's a very meaningful album to me. So it's kind of it in a nutshell.
Sure. That's in a nutshell. So, you know, your first song, can you remember the song that you wrote and where you were when you wrote it?
Yes, actually, you know, it's funny that I guess we all have weird moments of inspiration, and for me, it was mowing my yard. You know, just cutting the grass, and I remember
Okay.
putting this idea together in my head. I'm like, I got to stop doing this. I got to run in the house and write this down. And the name of the song was called Trainwreck, and it was from the first band that was in, called The Mess. But yeah, it
Hang on,
happened very.
JJ, I'm confused. How could you do your gardening and then all of a sudden think a train wreck? Was there a train going past your house and there had a crash? I'm confused. There's a bit of there's a weird vision going on with mowing your lawn.
Yes, there's nothing to think about. It was just an odd thing and an odd timing that, you know, it all worked out that way. But that is yeah, and often, like, even still now, like, I'll be maybe driving home from a gig at night, and while I'm driving, I'm like, oh boy, I have this really good idea, and I might need to pull over or write it down or something like that. But you know, it's always at weird times, you know. Never when you just
It's
sit
weird
around and
times
have
and
a
it's
guitar.
weird times and weird places, isn't it? You know, I've spoken this a lot on my shows, and
That's
I'm taking a
correct.
Mickey out of by Tabney Dove over in International Singer Songwriters. You know, I think I've written a couple of mine in the bath. You know, down by the
Yeah.
sea. You know, I think there's been lots of places. You just have these ideas. I think once an artist, always an artist, especially a songwriter. You know, like you say, just pulling over in a car and thinking, yeah, I've got it. I've got a really good song. I've got to get it out. You know, is yours
Yeah.
on pieces of paper like Eminem, or is it like on
Oh
an
yes.
iPad? Where do you put all your ideas? Back of your hand?
Uh, well, you can't really see around my room too much, but tons of pieces of paper. It's almost like writing songs is like putting a jigsaw puzzle together, you know, of ideas. But yeah, the other thing though about, you know, the pulling over and all this and that is that if I don't document these things as soon as they happen, they are gone for sometimes years, you know, and it might if I'm lucky, they might come back. So it's like, oh geez, I'm on a time crunch right now because I'll forget. So yeah, it tends to be that way. Very
I think
rushed
yellow
sometimes.
sticky notes, sticky pad notes. I think I went for a year myself putting sticky pad notes all over my wall. And I remember my mum going absolutely mental because I'd got sticky notes everywhere. So you leave marks on your wall, you know. I'm like, oh, I think I already have. Sorry, mum. I've got
It,
ideas. I need to get them out of my head.
wow, yeah, I totally relate. Actually, I read an article not very long ago that might make you feel better about that, where it says that if you are that kind of person that has a real cluttered area and whatever, it means that you're very smart.
Oh,
so
no, there you go.
so
Thank you very much.
so
That
let's
makes
hang
me
on
feel
to that.
100% better now.
Yeah, right.
We're both hang out to that one. Anyway, Jay, you know, in relation to like you sort of like coming out of a teenager, going into your first music, can you remember where your first gig was?
I do. It was a place called Duke's, Dukes, and you know, funny thing about performing is until you know, do your first show or you know, performance, um, it's real easy to build up in your head what you're gonna do and all this and that. But like until you're thrown into the fire, so to speak, you know, everything becomes real then, and you have to kind of like roll with the punches. And for me, growing up, I never like to speak in front of people. So I guess it's like a common fear, I guess, amongst people. And I remember as the gig date was like coming up, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have to speak in front of people, and this is not exactly what I'm, you know, comfortable with or used to. But then I also like stepped outside of myself and slapped myself and said, like, hey, if you want to do this, you got to get over this. So you know, I quickly got over that fear because what kind, you know, what was I going to do? Perform behind walls or something like that, you know? So
Just a brick wall and sing there. I think
right,
I
right.
remember one year we were talking about DJing. I'll share a story with One Life. I sat behind a curtain for 5 hours during a wedding, playing music, and literally for 1 hour only, I was playing to the audience. It was just literally behind the curtain. Every time I went to go and see the bridesmaid, I was like, "Can we open the curtains yet?" She's like, "Oh no, 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 we're not finished our dinner." I think they must have had a 5 hour dinner, and I sat behind on the other side. Luckily, I wasn't singing that night. I think I only had to sing one song, was their wedding song, and that was it. And they just wanted
Wow.
DJing. But I sat behind this blanket, and I'm thinking, this is the weirdest gig I have ever done. I'm sitting behind a curtain.
Yeah,
Everybody's enjoying their dinner, and every 5 minutes, I'm going, "Have you finished your dinner yet? You know, do you want the DJ on the stage?"
that's funny.
I literally
Yeah,
come out of the curtains at 11 o'clock at night, done one song, went back to the music, and my night was finished. I hadn't seen anybody for 5 hours. It was a horrible night.
that's too funny. Yeah, I mean, you
How
get through
about
all of that kind of stuff.
how about gigs for you? You know, you've gone on your first stage, you've played, and you've got over those nerves and things like that. But in terms of moving on in your career, your bio shows some amazing artists who you've had the pleasure to play alongside or open up for. You know, you've had an amazing career. You know, those moments in your career must stick with you for the rest of your life. Who's been your favorite?
Um, yeah, I definitely have been fortunate as far as like being able to share stages with my heroes, and um, what I have learned about that is that just as in getting over whatever kind of fears you have or jitters, yeah, sometimes meeting your heroes, they tell you not to meet your heroes because they might not be your heroes afterwards, and that's happened several times. But Duff McKagan, the bass player of Guns N' Roses. When I was, one of my earliest musical memories was them coming out with that debut album, Appetite for Destruction, and me being very young.
Brilliant
Uh,
album.
so so young that like we passed cassettes around our class, and I remember that one came around to me, and when it came around to me, it was like you put it on, and it was just, man, you just felt that vibe that was just dangerous rock and roll, and it was so real. So I had loved them instantly, and all of these years later, I think it was like 2008, 2009, something like that. The opportunity came to, do you want to open up for Duff McKagan? I'm like, yes, I do. And
Oh, no, actually, I'm busy that Saturday night. You know, I'll just check my
right,
diary.
right. So then instantly I'm thinking to myself, God, is he going to be a jerk? He was in the biggest band in the whole world. Of course, he could be anything. He could be a jerk. He could be whatever. But so humble and so nice and down to earth. I was so incredibly impressed and learned so much just by the way he acted and treated people. He wasn't, I'm better than you kind of a person, and just really, really
Mm,
genuine guy. So that would probably be
sure.
my favorite. Other artists that were really cool. The singer of Anthrax, Joey Belladonna, very nice guy. And a guy from the Ramones who we performed with, Richie Ramone once, really nice guy. So yeah, I
Sure.
mean, at the end of the day, they're just people. Sometimes they might think
They
you're
are.
more than
They
that.
are.
But
And we've spoken about this. You know, we have many people, movie stars, we have indie artists, we have mainstream artists, we have everything on One Life. And I think everyone I've spoken to is just absolute gem. You know, that you are, and we are all normal people at the end of the day. We all have normal lives, and we have things which go on outside of our lives away from music, but one general interest is just, the love of music, love of collaboration, and love of like supporting each other, and everybody is out there for us, and there is a lot of support out there for each other. So never ever, whether you're in indie artistry or whether you're in a mainstream artistry, never ever feel that you are not going to be supported. You are going to be part of a one big family, especially for all those who are coming into the industry. Please stay away from the media, stay away from all of the stories which are out there, because once you're in the music industry, it's an absolute pleasure, and you feel as though you are one of one big family. I think, since I've been in the industry myself, I've met so many amazing people around the world, and I feel as though every single one of them can be a family member that I could just ring up, do an email to, say hello to, and it is an absolute pleasure. Anyway, Jay, in relation to One Life, what we're going to do is we're going to play one of your amazing tracks that you sent through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on charity. We're going to concentrate on the Guitar for Vets and also the charity that you have given us, which is the Autistic Society of America. I think we're going to go with Tornado Mistakes. Tell us a little bit about it before I play it.
Fine choice. That's the latest single. That's will be from our fifth upcoming album. I wrote it because this last year has been a pretty tough one. My family, we lost my mom, and so much I learned in her, in her last months or whatever. But I noticed that so often we look at in front of us and we don't see what's on the side of us, or how what we're doing here affects everyone around us. And you might think that you're not hurting anyone or affecting anyone, but you certainly are. And until you come to terms with that, you'll never move on or get better, or however you want to say it. So I wrote the song Tornado of Mistakes about how you have this vision straight ahead, and you're not looking at what's going on around you, or who you might be neglecting or ignoring, or not being there for. And I threw it all into that song.
Brilliant. Do you know what, Jay? From what I've seen on your Facebook and from what I've already known you, for the short place I know you, you don't do that. You are very much into supporting people and having people around you. I tell you what, everybody who comes and talks to me on this show will share something special about themselves or something what's difficult for themselves. Jay, do you know what? Your mum's going to be looking at you and be still super proud of you, buddy. Absolutely super proud. This music that you're creating at this very moment, your mum is going to be looking down on you and saying, do you know what? I'm really proud of Jay. Really proud of you. Okay, keep that music going for your mum. Thank you for bringing that out on One Life. It is hard, some things that people share, but thank you for sharing that. And, my heart goes out to you and your family. So in relation to Tornado of Mistakes, let's play this. Let's play it for mum. Let's play it nice and loud, everybody. It is Saturday night, and let's see how else can hear it up there, okay? So Tornado of Mistakes, here we go. Absolutely great song, Jay.
Thank you very much.
How's it going since it's been released?
Pretty good actually. Yeah, that's the other thing about, being an artist these days is like I was speaking about trying to get to your first gig and getting through your first gig. Like you have your whole life to get to your first album or your first release, and shortly thereafter you have to keep the punches coming, and the momentum going. So uh that's something I've always been very mindful of. Like, you don't want to rest. Like I don't want to, look back on my first album and say that was the best thing I ever did. So I must, no use working on anything else hard. Like I always feel like the best thing is the next thing. So
Best thing is
it,
yet to come, isn't it?
yeah,
Whatever
and
age and whatever. I do that. It's a bit, I always want to try something new, try something. I actually quite like, I know people are going to shoot me for this, but I actually quite like waking up in the morning and looking at my artist's like statistics and thinking, actually, that's a number. If I beat that number next time, I'm happy. That sort of always helped me in my career now, especially like being at like a bedroom singer now, as they call it. At the end of the day, I've got some numbers to go on. I used to have when I was on stage, I used to have the reaction for the crowd and if they liked my song or not. Now I'm not on stage. It's like, well, I've now got figures and numbers which are going to tell me whether my song was a flop or a hit. It's like, but I do like getting up in the morning going, oh, I wonder where I am.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of, I'm not sure of your age, but I know of growing up when I spoke, like the things that mattered the most were radio, music, television, and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't really matter now. It's more like you said, like numbers and likes and streams and comments and stuff like
Crazy,
that.
isn't
So
it?
it's a different playing field. But if you're
It is.
serious about these kind of things, you have to adapt to that. And
You
um,
do. I was looking at one of your streams, and I've got to ask you. I think one of your first singles that you put out in terms of the digital world, it was like 500,000 or something crazy like that streams. And I was thinking, was it 500,000? Was it 5,000, Jay? I think you put an extra couple of noughts on that one, but it was in your bio.
no,
But
I
in
think
terms of the
my
Spotify revenue on for that, it probably was about £1.50 or 50p. I don't know
oh
what it
right.
was.
No, my total amount of streams was 500,000, not just one song. That would be great though. I wish that were true. And you are right. Even if that were all the case for one song, I'd probably get about $5.
That's it. Yeah, it's about $5. It's about that's about all they pay us these days. Anyway,
It's
Jay,
frugal.
let's talk charity. Let's talk charity. Let's talk about one of the reasons we continue on the One Life journey that we do. So Guitar for Vets are here for the month.
Okay.
Jason Walsh was one of our singers from last month who chose the charity for us. So, Jason, if you're listening tonight, I know you're working with Imran as hard as you can for your tour, the little gig that you're going to do on the 28th and getting all these guitarists together. So I know you're working extra hard for One Life and for your charity. And us artists are also going to work hard for you as well. So we're going to take a little break, everybody. We are going to play this little video to everybody while me and Jay take a bit of a breather. And then what we do after that, straight away, I'm going to make sure that we talk more about Jay's amazing music life and find out what life in 2024 was like for him and bring him bang up to date. Okay. So let's get the audio video on. Jay can take a break with his coffee bar. Looks very sure it's just coffee in there, Jay.
If you blow on bourbon, you can't tell.
Yeah.
No, it's coffee. It's definitely coffee.
Good, good. Remember, you got a gig to go to tonight.
You are correct.
Here we go. Guitar for Vets. Everybody, this is Danny's story, and he's a ex-veteran, and also he's part of the Guitar for Vets organization, and he just tells us about his story.
My name is Danny Roberts. I'm the Guitars for Vets Los Angeles chapter coordinator. In 2008, from family members, I was encouraged to go into a rehab facility for veterans. I'm a veteran myself. I served in Iraq and was wounded over there and came home, had my fair share of problems that I wasn't addressing. And when I was in the rehab facility, I came across Guitars for Vets Foundation. Started in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that's where I was attending therapy. And I went into rehab and instead of it being a torturous, grueling experience, it was like band camp. It was fun. We worked on our individual needs and problems that came from being exposed to war, and at the same time, we found in our recreational time that just getting together, playing music. At that time, it was attempting to play music, but it took a lot of our problems away and helped us connect with each other, connect with ourselves, and it was such a positive impact in my life. Veterans are referred to by a VA therapist. Our program operates out of VA facilities, and at that time we do 10 weeks of one-on-one guitar lessons with the veterans. And during that time, if the veteran is showing aptitude, desire, doing their homework, they tell us that they feel it's helping them. At the end of that 10 weeks, we give them a brand new guitar, a tuner, a case, books, music, sheets, everything they need to continue, and their lessons continue as long as they like. It's definitely hard work, your fingers and hands hurt, and but in the beginning you just see that as long as you're practicing every day, you will see the progress every single day, and it's so rewarding. Right now our current recruiting is all through word of mouth and through our website, and Guitars for Vets is always looking for experienced guitar players to teach. As each chapters are being set up, it's just a matter of networking. It takes one person that knows another person and knows another person, and they're all volunteers. So it's a chance for musicians to give back, which a lot of musicians look for a way to give back, and this is a great way. And it's with music, and it's giving people a chance to save a life. It's 2013 now, and I'm still sober, and I still love to play guitar, and I use it. I play when I most need it. When I'm having hard times in life, it seems like I'm not playing at all. Kind of gotta keep that in mind. I always like to play, so I don't pick up the bottle, because later on in that day or in that evening, I might have the chance to play. And kind of a hard life, and learn to bottle things in and keep it all inside. And playing music actually lets me connect to emotions that I just don't connect otherwise. You feel good at the end of that. It feels good in your soul to have that outlet. There's not so much of a weight on yourself after. So I went from no music inclination at all to what I am now, and playing in a band and trying to help teach other people, and it's been good. It's something I find very rewarding, and have no problem giving my time. I just want to help somebody, because this program's done so much for me, and it's my turn to give back a little bit, and as many hours as it takes. Take a load off me. And you put the load right on me.
Thank you very much for giving us the time to play that one.
My name is Danny Roberts. I'm the Guitars for Vets.
Get off YouTube. What's going on? Typical live show. It played again. Thank you for being able to give me a bit of time to do that, Jay. For everybody out there on Facebook and YouTube, and also X this evening, if you are a guitarist, please, 5 minutes of your time. If you've got an old guitar who's sitting in a shed or sitting in a spare room and it's just sitting there collecting dust, these guitars, because you know what, music is one of those things that it just helps and supports. It's amazing for everybody's soul, especially for our veterans out there who, would suffer and could suffer from PTSD and a lot of hard, bad memories from war times. And I just want to thank all the veterans for everything that you've done for our country. And all those who are serving currently as well. At the end of the day, these organizations are out there for you. One, to bring you back to giving you something to keep your mind focused, but also to give you a place in a community to support you. And I know there's many great musicians who still serve and they've still got a voice out there and still want to be part of a band or, being a musician when they come out. This is a great way to meet people. And please, try and give them support. if you want some extra advice or support around Guitars for Vets, Jason is around on emails and also around in terms of support, and so is the organization itself. Okay, so yeah, absolutely fantastic. Do you know much about Guitar for Vets, Jay?
Just a little bits I've learned, but on a personal note, I know many vets. My father's actually a vet, and one of my really good friends had done several tours over in Afghanistan, and saw a lot of things that nobody wished that they saw. And every time he came back, it was like he had a harder and harder time adjusting to, I guess you'd say civilian life. And whatever he kind of put his focus on, he would, accomplish like incredible. So he took up guitar, and before I even kind of understood what he was doing, he was taking guitars apart and putting them back together, and like he knew more about that than I did in all my life playing them. So he ended up performing on my first album, and yeah, it's a great thing to give these veterans a place and somewhere to feel welcome, because I know, speaking of my friend, his name was Adam. He wouldn't even be able to speak about whatever was going on unless he was like downing bottles of liquor, because it was just terrible memories to go through. And I'm grateful he's got a family and everything now, and he has adjusted quite a bit.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. There is personal stories. Like my family know, I've got a family in the military, and it is hard for them. And, but actually, organizations like this, we will support, we will celebrate, and we will get the message out there of support around them. And I'm looking forward to the 28th. I'm looking forward to some guitarists celebrating the fact that they're all giving to one great charity at the end of the month. So, in relation to your charity, it was Autism America. So, can I just ask, Jay, why particularly is that charity so dear to you?
Well, this is some time ago, but my previous girlfriend had a brother who would is still nonverbal, fully grown, and unless you're around that or like pretty much like involved in it, you don't understand the struggles that these people go through, and how difficult sometimes the easiest things that we take for granted are that they're dealing with. And at some point during our relationship, we decided that, we knew so many people in the music community here that we would try to put benefits together. It was like an annual benefit called Rock for Autism. And, it felt good to get our group of people together to, donate their time for something bigger than all of us, and uh, at the end of whatever the event was, we, give all the proceeds to that charity. And it made me feel good, but I don't want to be the one that takes credit. My girlfriend was, instrumental in putting a lot of it together. And those kind of things are important for, there's different kind of people, I guess, like some early on when I was performing, there was a bandmate that would only perform if we, got some sort of compensation, which it's not a terrible thing. But I felt like if we couldn't do shows or whatever, even if it's, for free or whatever, but you're getting out there and you're doing good with your time instead of trying, we're all trying to make a living, but so that made me feel good to, still to this day, like there's a venue that we perform at that every Sunday will usually have a benefit. And, we'll play for anything that we believe in, and I think that's cool that a lot of artists do that.
Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what, Jay, I've got a really good idea. Like I told you at the beginning of the show, that my family are connected to autism, my son and my daughter, and autism is very dear to me. I have got a rocker. We were talking about old rockers earlier. Paul, if you're listening, I don't mean it, Paul Austin. So the Paul Austin band, I don't know if you know them, they're part of One Life. He is an amazing rock singer, and he's also an amazing person, and he is sorting out our One Life albums in relation to a series of albums all connected to charitable causes. And I don't know if you see it, the LA Fires
Yes.
interview that we done a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Similar
Very
to
good.
that in terms of put it on Bandcamp, getting artists to all contribute into it, and then obviously putting it out to mainstream. So I'll tell you that Rock for Autism sounds absolutely an amazing title. You know, I think it'd be absolutely great. Paul Austin, let's put that on the cards out there. If you're listening, buddy, let's rock for autism, UK, USA version, and get all the rock stars around the world to put their rock songs into that album, and let's get it out for charity. That would be an amazing album. I would love it. And I don't know if you listeners are listening out there, but we've got some great rock stars going on at the moment, and rock music is really coming on, really good. And we've got some amazing artists coming on the show, like Stonebreed, who are coming on. So there is some amazing artists coming on. So what do you reckon, Jay? A bit of a collaboration between UK and US in terms of autism, and get one out this year?
I don't say no to much. So I would definitely be
Well,
involved.
that's good. That's good. Well, okay, Paul Austin, what we're going to do then is the One Life Challenge for tonight. We do have these One Life Challenges which go on for a lot of our shows because we come up with crazy ideas on ways in which we can support local and national charities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little special thing for J. Luke, okay? So, J. Luke, what I'm going to do is I'm going to team you up with Paul Austin, but I am also going to team you up with the one, the only, Aziz Ibrahim from the Stone Roses, because I know Jay is a bit of a fan of the Stone Roses, and this man used to be one of their lead guitarists. So I am going to put Aziz in the group with Paul Austin and Jay Luke to come up with an autism album from the UK and America, and he is going to spend some time with Aziz from the Stone Roses and get to know him, talk Stone Roses, talk to him and find out about what it was like in the 80s. He will tell you about his like embarrassing moment when Adrian said, "What was it like joining Stone Roses as a boy band?" I was taking the mickey out of him. And it was like, but his story of how he joined the Stone Roses is absolutely amazing. You know, almost like something that you'd get off TV. You know, literally phoned up, "What are you doing?" "Not doing much." "Well, you're going to be in the band Stone Roses. Do you know about them?" Literally that easy. You know, he was a great guitarist at the time, but he was only a teenager in Manchester. So anyway, how about that, Jay? Would you like that?
I would be absolutely honored. 100%.
Cool. Cool. Okay, I'll set that little message you up because that's the sort of thing that we love doing in One Life. We love collaborating as a family, and we love actually making sure that all these artists together work on some projects throughout the year. But I know, Aziz, you've got a busy time out there. God knows where you are, whether you're in the UK even. I keep seeing that you're on your GoPro around the world doing different conferences and things like that. But I know you will always have time for me, and I know you'll always have time for One Life. And Paul Austin, I know. Well done. I'll tell you what, Jay. I don't know if you know about this place, Whiskey A Go Go.
Oh
Is
yeah,
this
of course.
a venue? Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently this is a really famous venue, and I want to say congratulations to Paul Austin and the Paul Austin band. You know, the last 2 or 3 weeks you have done fantastically well, and they're off for a tour of America and going over to Whiskey A Go Go in August. So well done, boys. That's absolutely fantastic news. Have you played there, Jay? Is it a venue you've done?
I've never even been there, but I'll tell you what, there's probably no heroes of mine who haven't. So, yeah, like, geez, everybody from the Doors, Alice Cooper, all of the 1980s Sunset
Wow.
Strip bands. That's a very, very big venue. Well, not big in terms of how big
Fantastic.
it is, but just, influentially massive.
Just influential. Wow. Yeah. So well done, Paul Austin band. That's absolutely great to see that you're going over to America for one. So yeah, that's fantastic. So in terms of life outside of music, Jay, we always say to all of our artists, you know, coming out away from music, getting off the stage, getting out in the studio. What's time like away for Jay Luke?
Well, we both mentioned like feeling like you're sometimes burnt out. I know I work a full-time job as a graphic designer, and I do a lot of art, like drawing and stuff like that. And I have a couple books. I've done a couple books, so um, the outlet of expressing myself isn't just within the music community. So the drawback to that is that it's a very sleepless existence. The last album I put out called Me and My Demons was because it came out because, I'd be working all day, come home, basically get changed, run to a gig that might be an hour, maybe more away, play that gig. It's getting very late, maybe 3 in the morning, coming home. And between 3 in the morning and 7 o'clock, when I have to wake up to go back to work, you don't really sleep that good. You just kind of sit with yourself, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know if I heard somebody say it, the phrase "me and my demons," but I'm like, wow, that is what I feel like. I feel like at 3 in the morning, I'm sitting with my demons, and we're all just hanging out. And it's like, oh well, we got to go do this circus again tomorrow, and I really try to document that the mental strain that puts on artists, or not even artists, just general people that going from
I
place to
think it's
place.
genuine life now, isn't it? I think everybody's in a time when they're trying to earn extra money, they're trying to get through life and things like that. So, I think we all look after ourselves in different ways. Can I just clarify one thing? I'm really confused with your writing. I looked through your Facebook pages earlier. Is it children's books that you do? There's one with a drummer.
I did illustrate that one. Yeah, that actually was funny.
Oh, that's where the connection is. I was trying to get it because I was thinking rock music, David Bowie, Guns N' Roses, a child's book. Hang on a minute. Where's a child's book?
I'll tell you what's really cool though. That drummer, his name is Carl Kennedy, and he performed on my first album. He is quite a bit of a musical giant as well. He in the harder rock world, he's in a band called the Rods, RODS, and they were a couple of things. Like he produced quite a bit of very famous metal albums, but his band was part of a pretty epic moment where the band Metallica had played. They were on the same bill with them, but it was the last time Dave Mustaine of the band, he went on to Megadeth, but he was in Metallica, and he was at that gig. They played together when they fired him. So it was a pretty epic moment in metal history, I guess you could say. But incredibly nice guy, and really, really good musician. And he asked me if I would do some illustrations for this book that he had, and I said, yeah, sure, I would love to. So there you
that's
have
how it all come out. See, we all find out everything on One Life. I tell you, it's been some really interesting stories and how things come about. So as you're gradually going down people's Facebooks, and you're thinking, where did that come from? Ask the question, because you might find out something really interesting in how that book came along. So from an artist in terms of his stories, and then also an artist in terms of his music, let's get on to his next track. And then after the next track, I'm emptying this bloke's pockets. I tell you, he's had long enough. He's had 44 minutes. So I'm going to empty his pockets after this. Okay, so we are going to Don't Believe the Truth. How did that one come about? Tell us a bit about the story behind this one.
Also work related frustrations. It's kind of built this one up where it's usually you hear the phrase, the customer is always right. And to an extent, I understand it. But there are certain times where, if a customer is wrong, where, you back it up and say, like, well, here's where they're wrong. And sometimes, which was too often, the person I worked for would take the side of the customer, and it drove me insane. So I'm like, I have every bit of documentation to prove that I didn't, mess this up or whatever. Like, this is what they said. So it frustrated me so much, and I eventually got out of that place. But the phrase "don't believe the truth" came out of it, because it was like, here it is. Don't believe it if you don't want to.
I'm gonna play this song, and this is Jay's remembrance of his times that he was playing and working in Walmart. So I think that must have come out when he was a teenager, when he wrote this one in Walmart. Okay, so the story behind that, I think that goes with that. Okay, so don't believe the truth. Everyone think of Jay working in Walmart. Here we go.
cross my mind. If you come across it, stuff it in that metal bin. I'm afraid it's only capable of causing mortal sins. Are you sure that you're prepared to really take a closer look? And will you turn another page, or will you burn the book? Just like a politician, or just like a dirty cow, you're only really sorry when you find that you've been caught. Guilt is just a fingerprint that scarred you from your youth. And trust in what the people say, don't believe the truth. Ever try to drown your sorrows till you find they've learned to swim? How can it be so bright outside when inside it's always dim? The world is always selling fear to the highest buyer, but there's no fear of burning out if you've never been on fire. We can't change a thing when we're depending on a prayer. Always running around in circles, repeating what we don't repair. Just like a politician, or just like a dirty cow, you're only really sorry when you find that you've been caught. Guilt is just a fingerprint that scars you from your youth. And trust in what the people say, don't believe the truth. Like a politician, or just like a dirty cow, you're only really sorry when you find that you've been caught. Guilt is just a fingerprint that scars you from your youth. And trust in what the people say, don't believe the truth.
I'm loving this week. Absolutely loving this week. I don't want to give up this week, everybody, with rock music. I tell you, when we swap music next week, I'm not giving up. I tell you, brilliant, absolutely brilliant track. But it's always going to remind me of you working at Walmart. That's always that's it. Every time I hear that track, I'm like, yeah, Jay Luke's listens that while he's working at Walmart.
I'll tell you, sometimes I wish I was at Walmart instead of where I was.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it'd be so much easier than being a music artist, wouldn't it? Anyway, mister, let's empty those pockets of yours. It's the time of the show. We've got 10 minutes before we go. Let's see if we can get any money out of Jay Luke on his chosen specialist subject, okay? So his chosen specialist subject, I have taken out of trawling through all of his Facebook this evening. He doesn't know what his specialist subject is, but I'm going to tell him now, okay? So we're going to bring it up on the stage, and we are going to get behind the quiz. I'm going to go behind the screen, and I'm pulling faces at me, okay? So here we go. Well, chosen subject this evening is David Bowie.
Oh, okay.
So on your Facebook, there seems to be many pictures of David Bowie. Was the image of David Bowie that you went into your first hairdressers and said, I'm going to be a rock star. Can you make me look like David Bowie? Is that how it happened?
Who put you up to this?
No one put me up to it whatsoever, but I've seen on Facebook continuously there's pictures of David Bowie and there's pictures of you next to him. So I think you literally went in the barbers and went, I want to look like David Bowie, because it's constant. There's loads of David Bowie pictures on there.
I'm a huge fan, and that may or may not be.
Yeah, huge fan. Anyway, Mr. David Bowie, what a rock legend. You know, if you are a rock singer out there, you know, complete rock legend, and he will be one of my faves. I absolutely love David Bowie. You know, absolutely amazing singer. And in terms of rock music, someone who has gone through the generations, have always been connected to, always in relation to our artists. But we've got 10 questions. Basically, all it is if you get the question wrong, you owe the Guitars for Vets charity $2. That's all it is. And at the end of the day, you can give more, give less. It's a bit of fun. At the end of the day, if you are playing in the audience, see if you can beat J. Luke's score tonight and see if he is a master of all that is David Bowie. Okay? So I'm going to play it. If you can hear it, I'll stop it. Okay? Could you hear that first bit of music?
A little bit. I might need more.
Okay. Well, if you could hear the song, that means you could hear it. So, okay, we're almost there.
I thought that was a guess. I thought you wanted me to guess the song.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I'm just testing the audio. I can't see what you're doing because I'm behind the screen looking at the quiz. Anyway, so basically all you got to do is guess the song from David Bowie, and then it will give you about 10 seconds, and you've got to name the song, okay?
Okay.
Let's see if you can get the first one.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Space Oddity.
Okay, name the David Bowie song.
Space Oddity.
Oh, that's an easy one. Easy one. Let's see if you're right. It is Space Oddity.
Rebel,
You know that
Rebel.
one?
Rebel, Rebel.
Rebel, Rebel. Let's see if it's Rebel, Rebel, shall we? Of course it is.
I wish you could swim.
Heroes.
J. Luke is definitely a David Bowie fan.
But her friend is nowhere to be seen. Now she walks through her song.
That one might be my favorite. Life on Mars.
Let's see if you're right. And I know you are.
Oh man, look at those cavemen go.
Oh, Digger, it's one of my favourites too.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
Let's Dance.
I'll tell you what, this is too easy. I'll tell you what, I don't know why I even chose this quiz because it's like the easiest David Bowie quiz there is.
Genie.
Let's see if you're right. Genie it is.
Lives on his back. Leave me alone, you know. When I get up.
Suffragette City.
You're good.
I'm back to Suffragette City. I catch a paper boy when things don't really change.
Modern Love.
I reckon you're reading this off Google.
My phone's in front of me. I can't see.
It is Modern Love.
you remember Agatha's being? It's such another song.
Ashes to Ashes.
Jeez, man. Ashes to Ashes it is.
Wanna come down right.
Right, I'm cheating. That's all you're getting. I'm getting $2 out of you. Can you do it just by those few bars?
Fame.
Oh, do you know what? Seriously, if you did this. Fame it is. Do you know what, Jay? I'll tell you what. I've been doing this show, like coming into podcasts since the June last year. Someone was getting me to come and do these shows, and I've done so many quizzes. And I think we're on our 80th show. I have never known someone to get 10 out of 10, even if it was their specialized subject.
I gotta be
One,
honest.
because like the last show, they knew every single answer, but they gave it away because they were like giving some money into the guitars for vets. But if you're listening, everybody, you know, this man, he doesn't want to give his money away. He's desperate to keep it. He knows every single one. 10 out of 10, young man. Well done. Well done.
I was
10 out of 10.
I was getting a little afraid that you were going to get into some tracks because, you know, I know quite a bit of Bowie, but man, he's got such a big catalog. You can't know everything, you know.
He has got a huge catalog. He has got a huge catalog. Jay, 10 out of 10, mate. So what we do have to do is when we do the Autism rock album, I think we're going to have to make you work harder with Paul
Yeah.
Austin. And as is,
I will
now we
definitely,
can't have your money for the guitar for vets. I will put the link out there. So if any of your friends and family feel sorry for you tonight, they might actually, you know, put some money in for you. You know, that's how desperate Jay is. He's been looking up all the things that's on his Facebook and making sure that he's knowledgeable about everything, just in case I ask questions tonight.
I promise you, I'm not cheating. I promise.
I like the way you said, did anybody set you up when we were talking about David Bowie and haircuts? Is there like a story behind that?
Yeah, there is actually. I think it was in his 1990s phase because he's always kind of like changing. He had an album. I want to say it was called Thursday's Child. Or maybe that was a single from it, but I loved his hairstyle in it, and I did actually do what you said. I'm like, can you make it look like this? So yeah, he's been an innovator in my life on literally everything from music to lifestyle to haircuts and everything else.
We all do it. Come on, us gents all do it. When we go on stage, it's like, yeah, I want to look like this rock star. I know I'm never going to be anything like him, but you know, if you can make me out like that, I'll be really happy.
Yeah.
I just wish they would like have some plastic surgery for me.
Yeah, right.
I don't think hair ever does it. I just wish you could go into. I remember doing X Factor, and I was spoiled rotten for that X Factor weekend. And I went into the hairdressers, and they're like, you know, what can we do for you? It's all free. You know, we want to do it as part of the newspaper and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, well, if you can make me into a pop star, so that'd be I might actually get through. And they were like, yeah, we'll cut your hair. And I was like, no, actually, if there's liposuction and plastic surgery involved in this, I'll be very happy. But the hairstyle goes well, you know, and I did sort of get through to the last round, so I was quite happy, you know, done all the recording rounds and things like that. But we all do it, even though whatever stage we are in our career, we still want to look like our favourite rock stars. Anyway, Mr. 2025, we've only just started it. We've already had a lot of the award shows are going in early January, February in relation to nominees. I can see that you are being on that track as well, elite sort of nominees and things like that. How's your sort of first couple of months in terms of sort of planning for the year? Have we got a lot going on?
Yeah, you know, I've always kind of been like I guess you'd say an artist who, you know, flies by the seat of my pants, where it's like, am I playing this weekend? I don't know. I better try to get a gig kind of thing. This year, and I guess a bit of last year too, like, man, I'm pretty well booked. I think I have like 40 shows. Well, besides for the shows I'd already done, and it's only February, I think I'll have about 50 shows already like scheduled for this year. And yeah, I play all the time. You know, if you invite me to play in your closet, I'll probably play in your closet. So
Actually, Jay, I'll go and have a look, but I don't think my closet's that big. I tell you, that's really not going to look good. And as the missus walks past, there's Jay in there with his guitar.
that would be funny. But no,
That'd be
I
hilarious, wouldn't it? I reckon you should do that, Jay. I reckon you should do that one day. I reckon in one of your hotel rooms, just sit there playing your guitar in the closet, and as the maid walks in the morning to sort your bed out, I'm sure I can hear some music somewhere.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
absolutely class.
I think it's going to be a good year musically. I'm hoping to finish up the 5th album I'm doing, and just keep building the momentum that's going on.
Yeah, keep building up, buddy, because there's some great tracks coming out of you. There really is. And they continue to come out. We've really enjoyed the music tonight. In relation to One Life, we've nearly come towards the end of the show. I just want to thank Jay Luke for being an absolutely amazing guest. Thank him for sending the bio through that he sent through and the music he sent through. Please keep following this young man and his music throughout the year. He is part of the One Life family now, so we will be sharing his success stories throughout the year and posting them on One Life so you can follow him and see his music. Apart from on One Life, where can people find you? I gather website, social media.
Yeah, I think I'm probably most. I try to be hands-on with all of them, but I think I have the best handle on Facebook. So I believe it's J Luke Music. It's not hard to find me. Just write me in Google or whatever your search engine is, and I think I might be the most easily recognized J Luke. There might be a couple others, but I'm the one with the albums out and stuff like that, and the videos and whatnot. So you could definitely find me
Fantastic.
on all social media.
Brilliant. Excellent. Jay, in relation to thank yous to people who have supported you in your career, is anybody who is a special thank you to?
Yeah, first and foremost, my girl. She's been with me through so much. Lori Leader, absolute saint of a woman. I've put her through so much, and that she's still with me, I can't even tell you how grateful I am. And my family for always being supportive, bandmates, and how can I forget fans? The most important, they're kind of keeping me going, and all over the planet, there seems to be people that are into stuff I'm doing. So I'm very grateful for that.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well done, Jay. In relation to One Life, in relation to my thank yous, I want to thank you all for joining tonight's show, whether you've been listening to us on Facebook, YouTube, or X this evening, or you're going to listen to us after the show in your own time. Just remember, on the My Indie Radio, who is our sponsor, these programs will be going out live in France also. So, Jay, you'll be playing in France very soon in relation to the audio from tonight's show. That's going to be going out live. So thank you, My Indie, for putting on those great shows. It is a Down Holland show, I think, this Thursday, who are going to be on. So it's another chance to rewind these shows, but into audio. So thanks, everybody. Let's keep growing this One Life family. We're nearly up to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's absolutely fantastic. And also, it keeps growing. Remember, we're always here for each other as artists, but we're also there for you as families and fans. So join us and find out what we're all up to. I'm going to go away over the next couple of days, and I'm going to make this young man meet one of his childhood heroes in terms of Stone Roses, and he gets to say hello to me. Aziz Ibrahim and also Paul Austin, okay? And then we're going to get that Rock for Autism album out this year because I think it'll be an absolute stunner. In relation to shows that are coming up, if I'm going to be a big shout out at the moment because I can't find these ladies. If anybody can find the Neon Angels for me, can you give them a knock on their door? Because they are meant to be on the show at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So if you know the Neon Angels, please tell them to get hold of AJ because they're meant to be on the show tomorrow at 7. But if not, we have got another show for you live on Tuesday, and we have got Dave Revel coming on the show. So that is going to be an absolutely fantastic night. That's 7 o'clock on Tuesday. So if I don't see you tomorrow, Monday or Sunday, if I don't see you Sunday with the Neon Angels, I'll see you with Dave Revel. Have an absolutely amazing weekend, everybody. And this is AJ signing off, and we will see you all very soon. Take good care, everyone. See you later, Jay.